Hi, today's video is about Sparklines. We're going to look at how we can use them to place quite simple graphs inside cells and how we can adjust their properties to our needs. We're going to start off by trying to understand a little bit about the syntax of Sparklines. So you'll see up here it says Sparkline, and then in brackets first of all we offer up the data that we'd like to create the Sparkline from, and then we can play with the options just here to adjust our graph. And you'll notice as we go along that the conditions that we change around are placed inside curly brackets. So what I've done, I'm going to start off with a line graph, which is the default for Sparklines, and I've created a set of fictional test scores. And you'll see if I click on our Sparkline here up on the function bar, on the formula bar, you've got Sparkline, and then simply all it does is it takes the data range just here, so it goes from C8 to G8, so from C8 here to G8, and by default it creates a line graph in black, just like that. You can adjust your Sparkline first of all by colour. So if I click on it, you'll see it's exactly the same as before. We've got our data range here, and then we've got a comma, and inside the curly brackets I've told it I want to change the colour, and then I've put a comma, and I've said the colour I'd like it to be is red, confusing here, presented in green. When I push enter, then that will come out with exactly the same graph as before, but in red. Now we can also change the line width for the Sparkline. So similar again, this one, let's have a look at what we've got up here. First of all, it's going to take the data range that we're interested in. Again, we're sticking with C8 to G8. And then I've put a comma and opened the curly brackets. Now I've told it this time colour, I'd like the colour to be orange. So first of all, you state what it is you want to change, and then you state what you'd like to change it to. Then I've moved on, so I've put a semicolon, and I said, now I'd like to adjust the line width. So I've told it line width, I've put a comma, and then I've stated 3 for the line width. You can adjust that to any number you like, and you can play around with that. So sometimes you won't want a line graph. We can create column bar charts as well. I've got the same set of data here, and if I click, you'll see a tiny bit more complicated, but we'll go through it bit by bit. First of all, it sets out the data range you're interested in. Now, by default, Sparklines will create line graphs. So when we change to a different type of graph, we have to tell it what we'd like. So I've put chart type. So that tells the Sparkline function we're going to change chart type. Then I've told it I want a column chart. Semicolon. Then I've said I'd like to change the colour. So I've made it blue this time. And then I can adjust the scale of the y-axis. Now, with Sparklines, you don't have x and y-axes that are visible, but the computer can adjust the graph according to the measures you want from your data. So it doesn't matter which order these are in. I've put max and then min, you can put min then max. But what I've done is I've looked at my data and I've said, well, the biggest value is 43. I've said go all the way up to 50. I can adjust this as I like. Our lowest value is 7, so if I wanted to, I could change this to a 5, and it will very slightly adjust my graph. You can also do negatives, so you might have a science experiment, or maybe you're tracking the weather in geography with the temperature, and all you do, if I click on the Sparkline just here, there's no need to tell the function that you're dealing with negatives. It can do that automatically. You just tell it you'd like to have a column chart, and then you can tell it about the colour you'd like the chart to be. Last one for today then. You might like to have horizontal bars. So this is an eBay review for the card game Uno, and they use star ratings just here, but you've seen these sort of things before. We can recreate this in some way by using a slightly different Sparkline. So if I click on the bar just here, what I've told it to do is I've said look in cell H25, so that's where we've got our value 5, and then I've told it the chart type that I would like to have is a bar, and I've told it the maximum value is 5. So hopefully if I just click through, you'll see I've got the same formula but for the different cells running down there. That gives you a brief introduction to Sparklines and what they can do. I hope that helps.